We have a City Elite baby jogger. It's a 2011 model. It's a three-wheeler. I just actually sold this unit, used, served us quite well. The lady brought it back and she said the next day she wasn't happy with it, so I gave her money back. She said she took it for a drive and the wheel was wobbly. So, yeah, you know what? When I came back and looked at it, I thought, yeah, it is wobbly and I can see it now. And I decided to give the lady her money back. Anyway, I tried to find a video online to fix this problem, and I really couldn't find one, so I thought, you know what, I'll try to fix it and make a video. Let's see if I can look at taking this front wheel off and see what's going on here. It seems like the shaft is a little loose, so we'll tip it up and see. Yeah, it does seem a little bit loose, so let's take it apart and have a look. In order to get this wheel off, you have to let go of the fabric here on the side, let it up. You see there's, well, picking up the 4 screws there on the top, and also there's the mechanism there for going straight or allowing the front wheel to swivel as well, which a lot of videos will tell you gets clogged up with dirt over time as well. So there is a screw on the top there. You can see there's actually a plug that goes over top of that, and I've pulled the plug out right there, like that. The plug has been pulled out. So I can get at that screw. There's a screw underneath this tab. And there's also up underneath here, you'll see, once we pull the wheel off, like this, we'll see that there's a screw underneath here as well. There's a screw right here by my finger. There, and there's the bottom part of that top one. Look at the shaft there. Oh, you know what? There is a fair bit of play there. Let's have a look and see why there's such a play in there. So as I said, we got to look at taking these screws out. There's one right down here, Phillips head. Comes out fairly easy. You can see it's loose there now. It's been held in place with the way the stroller is orientated. And now there's, as I said, there's 4 screws on top here as well, holding this guard on. Let's have a look at those and take those out. Okay, so now with those 4 screws removed, you see, like as I was saying, there's a screw in the center of the toggle mechanism here. There's a screw right down there, and if the camera's picking it up or not, you can just see the Phillips head there. And it goes right down underneath here. So we'll just take a screwdriver and back that one out. Now, as you can see, I've got that screw backed out there. And right down here, you'll see that this mechanism, right here, that light is bad on that, but there's a mechanism right here that comes off. And you see it's square, and it fits into the bottom part of the plastic here, which is actually square as well, so it won't turn. But right in there is a spring. You want to be careful when you're pulling the screw out, that you actually get that spring as well. This time the spring stayed lodged in there. Just reach in with the screw, pull the spring out, and there is the spring, so you don't want to lose it. Now, with that screw removed, but up top here, this whole turning mechanism now comes right out. And you can see that underneath, you have this little indicator here. Now, when I first looked at this, the indicator was stuck on, so I just popped it off, and I'll just glue it back in again afterwards. Underneath, lo and behold, there's another screw which holds on the rest of this plastic mechanism. So, once again, with my Phillips screwdriver, sure if this was a Canadian stroller, they'd have Robinson bits there, but I digress. So, you back out that screw, and then this top should pull right off. And look, it does, it pulls off. Now, when we look at our setup here, this is the shaft that goes onto the wheel. Look at that, that's loose. And that's what's causing all our problem. There's too much play here. I was worried first that there was a bearing issue here, but it looks like it's just a matter of tightening this nut up. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use a pair of vice grips. I'm going to grab onto the shaft. Of course, I'm going to protect it first with a rag, just to make sure I don't bite into the shaft. And I'll just put a wrench on this nut up here and give it a little snug. And let's see if we can't get rid of that play. Now, we're all ready to go. I got the pair of vice grips on that shaft, wrapped in a rag. And I'm going to put a 1/2 inch socket on top. And if I can just hold that with my leg even, you'll see. Give them a few turns. Starting to get tight. Slacken that nut. and all the play is now gone in that shaft. So that should be the problem right there fixed. Let's reassemble this thing, reversing the steps, and see if we have the problem fixed. And once again, here you can see there's now no play in that shaft at all. It's solid, rock solid. So let's look at putting this back together again, starting off by putting back on our pieces here, and let's see where we go. Here we are. We have those screws back in here, and the screw is back there. Now we have to put on this indicator cover here, just so it shows where it's rotating and where it's locked. We'll do that. I'm going to put a little glue on that, hold it in place, and it'll be easy to come off if that bolt ever comes, the nut ever comes loose again. Now the next part of the assembly involves putting this piece on, and if you recall from earlier in the video, it's actually a spring assembly that went in right here underneath that square hole there, right there. It goes right in, and then this piece goes in, which is really it's a nut mechanism for the screw, and you can see it's kind of now spring loaded, so you kind of hold that should stay in place there. Then you put your rotator on top in place, and then the screw goes right down through the head of that, down through, so you hold that in place, and then you just tighten it in with the screwdriver. Always be careful not to over torque this, because this is only a plastic piece here, and if you're not careful, you will actually break that piece. It is plastic, so don't over torque it. Just put it nice and snug, and let's see how it works. Now, as you can see, it operates very smoothly. You can hear it clicking there. You see it pushing in and out. Sorry, the lighting's not good there. You can see it pushing in and out. So what I'm going to do now, I can give this a little bit of coating with just some super grease I have here, some white lithium grease, just to give it a little, so there's no problems there, because these things do see a lot of dirt when they're going. And that's a common problem there, apparently, is that dirt getting in that mechanism. So there you go. So the wheel snapped on. Now it's in a rotating position. Rotates nice and freely. Let's lock it in. There it is. You hear it lock. You hear it running there. Now it's running nice and smooth. There's that play gone. This thing should run pretty smooth now. There you have it. Fixed. Good as new.